Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you how to factor quadratics. So quadratics is just a trinomial with an x squared term, an x term, and a constant, using a method involving box method and diamond puzzles. So the two skills that we did last week, we're going to be using in our factoring this week. Before we get into that though, we should sort of talk about what factoring is. The big idea behind factoring is if you've got some number, you can actually express that in terms of two different things multiplied together. In this case, for integers, you have prime factorization. But what does that look like for binomials, right? So like if we have polynomials, let's say we have x plus 3 times x plus 2, right? If we throw together a quick box method, we can multiply these things together and we get x squared. 3 times x is 3x. X times 2 is 2x. 3 times 2 is 6. So combine all of these parts and you get squared plus 5x plus 6. So this is x squared plus 5x plus 6. So what that means is this x squared plus 5x plus 6, you can split into two factors. And your first factor is going to be x plus 3, and your second factor is going to be x plus 2, right? Because literally x plus 3 times x plus 2 equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. And so essentially we are unmultiplying numbers, right? What multiplies to get 14? Well, 2 times 7 multiply to get 14. What multiplies to x squared plus 5x plus 6? Well, x plus 3 and x plus 2 multiply to x squared plus 5x plus 6. So, I mean, this example I went forwards, so we could see our two factors. But in general, you aren't going to get the forwards. So you're going to need to do this process called factoring to work out what two things you multiply together to get a number. So let's jump in and do an example. So we will have 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to set up a diamond puzzle, right? So you guys remember diamond puzzles? Diamond puzzles are a diamond like this. You've got the product in this box on the right. You've got the sum in this box on the left. And then you've got your two numbers. You've got your number 1 up top, and you've got your number 2 down here. So these are two numbers. The two numbers in these boxes multiply to the number in this box and add to the number in this box. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take different parts of this trinomial and put them in different spots. This middle term, the negative 11, is our sum. And the way you get the product is you multiply the first and the third number together. So 2 times 12 gives us a product of 24. So we need to think of two numbers that multiply to 24 and add to negative 11. And if you did enough diamond puzzle practice, hopefully you can figure this out. Because we've got a positive product and a negative sum, the only way you can get a positive product and a negative sum is if you've got two negative numbers. So I know just right off the bat that this has to be negative and this has to be negative, right? Because that's the only way we're going to get a positive product and a negative sum. So now I need to think of things that multiply to 24 that add to 11, right? Because they're both negative. So like 24, one way you could do it is you could write out your factor pairs. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8. And sure enough, there you go. 3 and 8 sum 11. And so negative 3 and negative 8 sum negative 11. So now that we're done our diamond puzzle, we found our two numbers. Let's go through our box method and see why we needed those numbers. So our box method looks like this. Here's our box. Now, we are going to work through our box backwards, right? So we know what we have multiplied to get, and we're trying to unmultiply the number. So we multiply, whatever we multiplied, whatever two things we had, our two binomials we had, gave us 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. And so for those of you who've done some polynomial Sudoku or you've done some box method multiplication, you know that you can then fill in this box with your 2x squared and you can fill in this box with your 12. But these two boxes we don't know, right? There's like what we need two things that add to negative 11. Right, so this could be like maybe it's negative 2 and negative 9. Negative 2x and negative 9x would give us negative 11. But if we tried to factor this, it's not going to work. You can't unmultiply those numbers. And it turns out that these two numbers up here from the diamond puzzle are the two numbers we need. So we can put negative 8 here, negative 3 here, and these are both x's, so it's negative 8x and negative 3x. And that is the inside of our box method multiplication. So now we just need to work backwards to figure out what numbers we get on each edge. So we're going to sort of look up here and say, okay, what could we multiply by to get 2x squared and negative 8x? And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to common factor 2x squared and negative 8x. So what is in common between 2x squared and negative 8x? Well, they both have an x in them, so I can pull out an x. And if I look at the constants, 2 and 8, I can pull out a 2. So I can common factor a 2x out this left-hand side. And now it's basically just a polynomial Sudoku question, right? You guys did polynomial Sudoku last week. We could fill out this number here, I guess. 2x times what is 2x squared? Well, 2x times x is 2x squared. And if this is x and this is negative 3x, I guess we needed to multiply by negative 3. And negative 3 times what is positive 12? Well, a negative times a negative is positive, and 3 times 4 is 12. And as a check, we can make sure that this box works. Is 2x times negative 4x negative 8x? Yes, it is. So this means that we have just factored 2x squared minus 11x plus 12 equals our two factors, 2x minus 3 and x minus 4. Okay, let's try another one. So you can jump in and you can pause the video as soon as I've written this question down if you're feeling confident. If you're not feeling confident, then you can just wait a second. I will show you how to do this. So 6x squared minus 7x minus 3. Okay, if you're feeling confident, pause the video right now, try it. Cool, hopefully that was enough time for you to do it. And get it because you paused. Anyway, never mind, okay, I'll just stop laughing at my own jokes. Actually, those of you who know me know that I'll never stop laughing at my own jokes. I don't even know why I would pretend. Okay, so there's my box. I'm gonna need a diamond as well. So let's fill those out first. So this is sort of my graphic organizer for this question. And I'm going to fill this out first this time, because why not? So I know that this is 6x squared, and this needs to be negative 7x, and this needs to be negative 3. So this box here is 6x squared, this box here is negative 3, and I need to figure out what two numbers are going to fit in those two boxes. And that's where I go to my diamond puzzle. So my sum is going to be this middle term here, the negative 7. And my product is going to be both of these numbers multiplied together, right? So you multiply those two together, and that is your product, which is negative 18. Okay, so in this case, I've got a negative product. The only way you can get a negative product is if you've got one positive number and one negative number. And I need to get, then since one's positive, one's negative, I need to get a difference of 7. So what are two things that multiply to 18 that subtract to 7? Well, they're going to be 2 and 9. So 2 and 9 gives me 18, and I need negative 7, so I need the negative 9 to be bigger than our positive 2 to give us a negative sum. So my two numbers here are going to be 9 and negative 2, or sorry, negative 9 and positive 2. And they are both x terms, so we need to have an x here and an x here. Okay, I haven't given myself much room, so let's erase this. So now we work our way up common factoring. I always like to common factor up the left edge, just for consistency, but I suppose you could do it another way. I suppose you could common factor across as well, and that would work. But anyway, I'm going to common factor up this left edge. So x and x squared have x in common, and 9 and 6 have a 3 in common. And now that I filled that out, I can then just use my polynomial Sudoku skills to fill in the rest. 3x times what is 6x squared? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, and x times x is x squared. And if this is 2x, well, then this has to be 1, because 1 times 2x is 2x. If this is 1, 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. And as a check, is negative 3 times positive 3x negative 9x? It sure is. So there you have it. This is 3x plus 1 times 2x minus 3. And if you got that on your own, congratulations. And if you didn't, don't worry about it. We're all learning. Okay, let's try another. Now this one we're going to do, it's actually going to end up being a little bit easier, but I'm not going to tell you why it's easier till after you've done it, because I'm evil like that. I feel like you should only teach students shortcuts once they appreciate the long way of doing it. Okay, so if you didn't try the last one, I'd like you to pause and try this one. And Lily's got some commentary in the background for that pause. Anyway, let's keep going. So if you got this, that's great. You should have got positive 7 and negative 4, but let's go through and do the whole process. So our diamond puzzle in this case, did you get this one? This is your product, this is your sum. Your sum is just going to be positive 3. So our positive 3 goes here. But we need to multiply this number in front times this number to get our product. And so you need to use your like invisible 1 that's there. So this is 1 times negative 28 is negative 28 is your product. So what are two things that multiply to negative 28? And since this is negative, we need one positive, one negative number that gives us 28. We've got a positive sum, so our positive number is going to be bigger. So if you work this out, you're going to need 7 and 4, because 7 times 4 is 28, and 7 minus 4 is 3. So now we can go to our box method. So here's our box, and it sums x squared plus 3x minus 28. So the x squared and the negative 28 we can fill in right away. And now we can fill in our 7x and our negative 4x. I didn't really highlight this in the last one. It doesn't matter what order you do these two numbers, right? Just like it doesn't matter what order you put the numbers here. Either order is fine. I mean, I could just, like here, I'll just swap those around. Why not? Negative 4x and 7x. It literally doesn't matter which order you do those. It just is going to change what order you get your binomials here and here. Okay, so common factor here. Well, there's only a 1 here, so there's going to be no constant. It's just going to be an x in this spot. And x times x is x squared. X times 7 is 7x. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. And negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And so this is x plus 7, x minus 4. Now, what do you notice about that positive 7 and negative 4 number? Positive 7, negative 4. Positive 7, negative 4. If you have an a value of 1, then you can just skip the whole box method. Okay, but only if a equals 1. Okay, so if you've got an a equals 1 trinomial, then you just need to find your two numbers. And these two numbers that you get from your diamond puzzle are going to be the two numbers you get in your factors. Okay, let's try one more. Let's see if you can do this one in one step. So just do your diamond puzzle for this one. So let's do x squared plus 13x plus 40. So let's set up a diamond puzzle. Okay, so you should just need a diamond puzzle, and then you should be able to go right to your two binomial factors. So pause here, try it. And we're back through the magic of the pause button. So our sum is the middle term, 13. Our product is the invisible 1 times 40. So our product is positive 40. What multiplies to 40 and adds to 13? Those numbers are 8 and 5. So your factors are x and x for your x terms, 5 and 8 for these. And since it's just plus everywhere, it's plus here, it's plus here, it's going to be plus here and plus here. Everything's positive. Cool. That was quick. Okay, let's try one more. Since these are so fast, might as well do a bunch, right? X squared minus 15x minus 100. So let's see if you can jump right to your factors from your diamond puzzle. Okay, did you figure it out? You should have got, so negative 100, negative 15, and your numbers were negative 20 and positive 5. X minus 20, x plus 5. Or you're right, in the other order, because order doesn't matter. Okay, now I want to do one more example. Now this last example we're going to do together because it's a little bit different than the ones we've done so far. It is 2x squared plus 6x plus 5. And we'll go through the diamond puzzle together and you'll see why I've given you guys this example. So I need my product here, my sum here. My sum is 6. My product is 2 times 5 is 10. Now everything's positive, so it's going to be plus and plus. What multiplies to 10 and adds to 6? Well, to multiply to 10, I could do 10 and 1. Okay, but 10 plus 1 is 11. Or I could do 5 and 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. And that's it, right? The only other factors would be to just write these again the other way around, which is just the same thing. So I don't actually even need to do those. That's just the same thing again. Neither of those add to 6. So there are no numbers. There's no numbers here. There's no numbers here. It's not possible. So this does not factor. All right, and that is factoring trinomials with diamond puzzles and box method.